everybody. Happy Friday. Labor Day weekend is on the horizon. And then we are into game week as we get ready for week one of the 2025 NFL season. It's Big Blue Kickoff Live presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Football Giants. I am John Schmeelk. He is Paul Dottino. You are calling in on the phones right now at 201-939-4513. We'll take your calls. We'll take plenty of them. But usually we do our over-unders, Paul, all the way back in like June.
Right.
And I decided this year, we're putting ourselves at a disadvantage here. We haven't seen camp yet. We haven't seen what the injuries are going to look like. We don't even know what the team's going to look like. So I decided to push it. The problem is that you run out of time pretty quickly when you get to the end of August.
Yes.
So we usually do like one show offense, one show defense. We get different talent involved. Well, we're squeezing it into one show. And that's going to be today. I narrowed the categories a lot. I just did one for each player rather than like multiple categories for each player. I picked the one that I thought was kind of most important for the player in defining the type of season that they're going to have.
Okay.
And I did a couple team stats.
Okay.
So we're going to do that today.
I got you.
We'll see. If we don't get a ton of calls, we might even do some playoff predictions. We can have fun with that too. But
I think we'll get calls.
I think we will too. But I think we have to lead off, Paul, with the news that's been. I mean, if you've walked by ESPN, there's only been one thing they've been talking about for the past 16 hours or so. And late yesterday afternoon, the Dallas Cowboys, who the Giants who the Giants play in week number 2 this year, and obviously is a longtime division rival of the Giants, which is why it's significant and why we're talking about it, decided to cut off their contract negotiations with Micah Parsons and trade him to the Green Bay Packers. I don't think we need to kind of go through the Cowboy angle of this in terms of how they handled the negotiation and what they did, other than I think both of us are pretty surprised. The late word was that Parsons and his camp basically went to Jerry Jones late in the process and said, hey, let's start over here. Let's negotiate this. And if the reports are to be believed, and I think Jerry Jones pretty much confirmed this at his press conference yesterday, which I still have not watched. I'm going to watch that later today if I have time. That said, no, we want you to play the 5th-year option.
Correct.
And that was pretty much that. And,
yes, it was.
You know, that Micah Parsons goes for the second opinion on the back, which indicates he's not going to play this year due to injury. And that would have been a whole nother can of worms, which we mentioned the other day when we did the show together. So they ended up trading him. And they trade him for 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark. Jerry Jones says, well, this makes our team better because we're better stopping the run. Well, I think if stopping the run was that big of a priority, they probably could have used a draft pick or signed somebody in free agency to find that player instead of trading the best player for that guy.
Fair enough.
And by trading Micah Parsons at this time of year, you also limit the amount of suitors that can bring him in because of salary cap reasons. You also don't know where the draft picks are going to be in the draft that you're trading for. And I think we both expect the Packers to be pretty good this year. So those picks should be in the 20s. So maybe even in the late 20s. So basically, the Cowboys will be without Micah Parsons. They do get better at defensive tackle, which was a huge position of weakness for them with Kenny Clark.
Yes, it was.
They do have good depth on the edge with Dante Fowler, rookie Donovan Ezraku, who Paul and I both really liked in the draft.
Marshawn legit.
Nealand in year 2. And then you have Sam Williams, who I know has a lot of potential, missed all last year with a knee injury. But none of those guys, Dante Fowler has a pretty good track record, but obviously not nowhere near the player that Micah Parsons is.
No.
So
a lot older, too.
Yes, much older. The other players in the room pretty young. Nealand, Williams, and Ezraku on their rookie contracts. But clearly, Parsons is a top 5-3 defensive player in the league, depending on how you want to rank him. It really doesn't matter. And the Cowboys' defense, which was already, I think, a weakness, is certainly worse now, which will help the Giants in week number 2.
Well, how about this? They already got rid of the bane of the Giants' existence, that certain defensive end that we talked about.
DeMarcus Lawrence, yep.
I didn't even want to mention his name, to be honest, because I'm just so happy to get him out of the division.
Giant fans might not remember. I want to.
But yes, DeMarcus Lawrence, and now Micah Parsons. So as far as I'm concerned, the 2 biggest migraines on that Dallas defense that have caused tremendous amount of pain for the Giants are now removed from the equation. One guy already during the offseason, and now one guy yesterday. I'm not a believer in Dante Fowler. I know he succeeded a bit with Dallas before, went to Washington, resurrected his career, had double-digit sacks.
I mean, he pretty consistently gets
it.
between 7 and 8 sacks a year.
He's okay.
No, he's fine.
You don't game plan for him.
You want him as your third pass rusher.
Yeah.
Correct.
He's not what I call a headache player.
Oh, no. No, they don't have a headache player on the edge now.
The other two guys were giant headache players.
Yeah, correct.
For this team.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ezeraku has much upside. John and I both think he has much upside. And obviously the Cowboys realized that when they took him in the second round. One of the best pass rushers in this draft. I don't think anybody would doubt that. But, how raw is he? I don't know what kind of camp he's had. I don't know what he did in the preseason games. I didn't watch Dallas.
I think they've been pretty happy with him, but I haven't seen him take any snaps. I don't know.
So here's what I will say. It's going to be awfully difficult, in my opinion, for Dallas to be a scary team in week 1. Now, maybe they'll get better as the year goes on.
Or week 2, which is more important.
Week 2 is definitely more important.
Yes.
They'll play the Giants in the finale here at MetLife Stadium to close out the regular season. I do think that Dallas may be a better team then than they will be in September. But right now, this totally flips the pancake for me as to, all right, well, it's Dallas.
Don't get too confident on me now, Dottino.
Well, no, it's Dallas has owned the Giants now for the better part of the last decade. I don't have that fear right now. Not at all.
Well, not of their defense. Their offense is still going to be pretty darn good, especially their passing game.
Yeah, but usually when the Giants have gone up against Dallas, it's been Dallas's defense has done a significantly nasty job on the Giants.
Especially the front. I agree with that.
I mean, there have been some times where, the Giants' defense was respectable and then fell apart in the fourth quarter because the offense couldn't keep the game close.
No, absolutely.
So, no, I'm not crying any tears about this trade at all. I'm sorry to say.
Paul had a very good late afternoon yesterday.
Well,
I didn't have a bad one either.
Can I tell you the truth? I was doing my power walk. And all of a sudden, I got a text from somebody upstairs said to me, Packers Parsons. And I couldn't help myself. I'm like, they didn't give me a sentence. They just said Packers and Parsons. And I was thinking to myself, well, are they talking or are they actually making a deal? I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let it go. And I'm just going to keep walking. I'm going to do my laps. And I'll figure it out when I get home. And then a few minutes later, somebody else called me and said, Packers just made a deal for Parsons. And I was like, okay, time to pick up the pace.
You picked up a couple of miles per hour after that news?
I did a full 8 yesterday. I did a full 8 miles.
All right. You want to do some over-unders here, Paul?
Sure.
So as always, I try to put these numbers together based on historical precedents, and I just try to put them at thresholds that I think are significant for the Giants and their success this year. Pearson, you can track these for us in the doc. Paul and I will both go over-under on these as we go. So, Paul, we're going to start on the offensive side of the ball, and we're going to start with Giants quarterback Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So I made these numbers pretty simple.
Okay.
I started with over-under 3,000 passing yards. Now, keep in mind, this total number will be dictated largely by how many games he plays.
I agree
which
with
is
that.
part of the conversation here, which is why I picked that number. Russell Wilson has finished with over 3,000 yards every year of his career, except last year when he only played 11 games at 2,400. And then the year prior with Denver in 15 games, he finished just over 3,000 at 3,070. Over under, Paul, 3,000 passing yards.
I'm going to say probably in the area of 3,300. So I will go over.
I'm going to go over here too. I expect him to be, I think if Russell Wilson gets to 14 or 15 games this year, I think he should be able to top 3,000.
Very reasonable.
But keep this in mind. I mean, the math's easy, folks. If he plays 15 games, all he should do is average 200 passing yards a game.
Yeah.
That's a very doable number. So I'm with you. I'm going over on that. And I think Malik Neighbors, and we'll get to him, will be a big reason we go over. This is the other one that I thought was interesting.
Okay.
24.5 total touchdowns. In the last 4 years, Russell Wilson's touchdown totals through the air have been 25, 16, 26. And then last year, again, in just 11 games, he had 16 passing touchdowns. On the ground, he has pretty consistently had 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns a year. In fact, since 2019, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2. So you're looking at 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns for him, and then whatever passing touchdowns. So will he have 25 or more touchdowns? Over under is 24.5.
Wow.
I picked a good number on this one.
No, this is a really good number. You know why? Because I think he will throw for 23 or 24, and I'm not convinced he's going to run for any. The Giants, Scatterboo is a touchdown gobbler. And I think if they're going to either go with Tracy or Scatterboo down inside the 5-yard line, they'll get the touchdowns. They're not going to have Wilson run it in. Now, he could scramble a 1 or 2 in.
Well, I think that's. I don't think it would be quarterback sneaks. I think that's what it would be.
Because their priority is going to be give it to those 2 backs.
And look, Dable will do some naked boots. He'll like play action and naked boot guys or run a read option or something like that. He does do that at the goal line.
All right. I'm going to say he's going to throw for maybe 24, and there's going to be an odd or 2 scrambles, so what the heck? I'll say over.
All right, I'm going to go over here too. I'm right on the number. I think this is about where he's going to land. Russell Wilson has been extremely consistent over the course of his career. And these are numbers he usually passes. So I think, again, a lot of this is going to have to do with the Giants' protection is going to be, and I think it'll be good enough for Wilson to top those numbers. But I do think the Giants' offense will try to be very balanced, which comes to our next player, and that's Tyrone Tracy. I had trouble with this one.
Okay.
Because we don't know exactly how they're going to split carries and split playing time.
It's true.
Which makes this challenging.
We don't.
So I went with I did rushing yards on this one.
Okay.
So last year he finished with just under 900 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
This year I'm putting his over-under at 1,050. I thought about doing 1,100. I thought that was maybe a little bit rich, depending on how much they decide to give the ball to Singletary and Scatterboo. So I put it at 1,050 rushing yards. Tyrone Tracy, over-under. I can go first here if you're thinking about it.
Yeah, go ahead. Go first on this one.
I'm going over here, and I'm going way over. I think Tyrone Tracy rushes for 1,200 yards. I think he's an excellent running back.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to bring Scatterboo along slowly because he missed so much time in the summer with the leg. And I think against 2 pretty poor rush defenses early in the year in Washington and Dallas, I think he's going to have 2 really big games. And I think he's going to start rolling, and at that point, they're not going to want to take him off the field. Because he started the season really hot, running the ball well against 2 pretty poor defenses. So I think Tyrone Tracy has a monster year. I think he has a chance to make a Pro Bowl. So I'm going to go with Tyrone Tracy well over 1,050.
Monster year for me would be like 1,400 or 1,500. That would be a monster year.
I mean, when's the last? I guess.
Right?
I mean,
Don't you think?
What would I'm looking at the NFL rushing leaders. Hold on.
Well, because if you're going to play 17 games, right, you don't have to rush for 100 yards a game to get to 1,400 or 1,500. So to be a monster year, I think 1,400 is probably a monster year, no?
No, let me look at yards here. If he rushed for 1,200 yards, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that would make him 8th in the league in rushing. If I told you that Tyrone Tracy had the 8th most rushing yards this year, Pearson, wouldn't you consider that a monster year to have the 8th most rushing yards? Yeah, see?
Okay.
I think that's fair. Top 10 in rushing?
Yeah,
that's really good.
Well, it is really good. That is really good.
Last year,
I'm not saying it's not good.
The only players that would have finished ahead of him last year, Paul, Saquon, Derrick Henry, Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Jacobs, Kyron Williams.
And how many had 1,400?
5. Gibbs, Taylor, Robinson, Henry, Barkley.
If you want to define top 10 or top 5 as monster, maybe that's where the difference is.
Maybe, yes.
Okay. I'm going to say
5.
over, but for a different reason.
Okay.
I have a different reason. My reason is this. I do think the Giants are going to have plenty more snaps on offense. They'll have the ball a lot more on offense and possess it. I don't think we're going to see as many 3-and-outs. I don't think we're going to see the Giants constantly from behind having to throw the ball 30-something times a game either. The Giants are going to be more competitive, more balanced, and they're going to have longer drives. So therefore, yeah, I think Tracy will get over 1,000.
Okay, let's go to Malik Neighbors here, Paul. 1,350 receiving yards. If you want to take a look at it, I will try to bring up what that would have been for receiving last year. Last year, Malik Neighbors, for the record, finished with 1,200 receiving yards. That was 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see where that would have ranked him in the NFL. I was looking at receptions. He had 109 receptions last year, which, by the way, would have ranked, which did rank 5th in the league.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to sort by yards here, but NFL.com is not cooperating with my sorting attempts. There we go. And in receiving yards, he ranked, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th with 1,204. If he gets to 1,350, that would have ranked him 3rd in the league last year, behind only Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson.
Okay. Because they're going to be more balanced, and even though they'll feed him the most of any of the receivers, you still have to figure in the other guys in this passing game. Theo Johnson. Tyrone.
He'll be next.
I was going to say Tyrone Tracy.
No, I think he's going to catch the
Tracy's going to catch passes too, but I think Theo Johnson, I think you mentioned the other day, you thought that Johnson might be 2nd on the Giants in receiving this year, and I don't think that's out of the question. I really don't. So between Theo and Tyrone Tracy, and then, of course, the other receivers, I don't think that Neighbors will better his marks. He might catch 95 passes for 1,200 yards, but he'll fall maybe a little bit short of both of last year's numbers, I think. But the Giants will be a much better, much more effective offense because they will find other ways to get some of those other guys some big-time plays. So even though he will still be the key to this offense and the guy they feed the most, I'm going to say under.
I'm going over, and I've said this before. This should surprise nobody.
I knew you would.
Because they are going to feed him incessantly.
I understand that.
And if he's healthy enough, and again, I think he might be one of these guys this year that every week it's questionable with something, but he ends up playing. But I think they're going to feed him all day and then twice on Sunday. So, all week. So I just think he's going to get a ton of catches. And I don't think the other receivers are going to – I think they'll be fine, but I think it's going to be kind of split pretty low evenly among the other guys. Again, I just think Neighbors is Dable's going to make sure that he's getting the ball in his hands, and so is Russell Wilson. So I'm going to go over on the receiving yards.
I would only ask you this from a flip side perspective. If Neighbors is still the guy, and they're going to do everything they can to try to take him away because nobody believes that maybe the Giants wide receiving core is that dangerous, well, then it does seem, as we just said a minute ago, that Theo Johnson and Tyrone Tracy are going to be big parts of this passing game. And if the Giants are more balanced, okay, if they are more balanced, then that means the back 7, whatever concentration they have, they're going to shift it to Neighbors. And they're going to say, okay, one guy's going to have to come down, and let's say the strong safety's got to come down in the box or whatever it is that they're going to do. They're going to have to start respecting the run more, and then that means there's going to be less material in the back end to deal with the Giants' pass game. Well, they're going to have to concentrate as much as they can on Neighbors. True. So I think Johnson and Tracy are going to have really big numbers in the pass game compared to what they did last year.
All right. Well, we're going to get to that in a second. Well, I did 2 numbers for Neighbors because it's the Giants' best offensive player.
That's okay.
10.5 touchdowns, over or under.
10.5. I'm going to say he catches like 95 balls. And for 95 balls to catch over 10 touchdowns is a lot. I'll go under.
I'm going to go under on touchdowns too because I think the Giants are going to try to run it a lot inside the 10.
You know how I feel about the run game and Scatterboo.
All right, so we agree with that. We'll both go under on the touchdowns.
Yeah.
All right, let's pick it up here. Theo Johnson. I just increased the number on this because you were raving and ranting, so I'll make it tough on you. 60.5 receptions. 60.5.
I'm on record saying he should catch 55 and average about 13 yards a catch. That's what I want out of him. I'm expecting a lot.
Well,
not a lot.
My original over-under was at 45.5. So.
Yeah, but if you're going up to 60, I got to go under for that. I think he's going to be in the 50s.
I think he will too.
Mid to high 50s.
I will go under on that as well. And just remember, Paul, 13.5 would put him like really high.
Really
high in yards per catch.
I know that.
Okay.
But I'm that confident in his skill set and the fact that I think teams are going to have a really tough time trying to get a hold of him. Because of what they're going to have to deal with the running game and with Neighbors.
All right, this is an interesting one. I got Darius Slayton Paul at 750 receiving yards. I'll just list his receiving totals for his career.
Oh, boy.
740, 751, 339. He was hurt that year. 724, 770 last year, 573. Over under 750 for Darius Slayton.
The second you said that number, because I know Slayton so well, I'm like, you just the most common number you could possibly pick for him.
That was the easiest one.
Yes, that's very cruel of you.
That's what I do.
I know. I'm going to go a tad over 700. I'll say under.
All right, I'm going to go over here just because Russell Wilson loves to throw the deep ball, and that's what Darius Slayton, I think, excels at. I think this is going to be very close, though.
How many balls is he going to catch, though, John? Because he's averaged 15 a catch.
I think he'll be
for his career.
I think he'll be in the 50s.
And I think 50's probably right around his number by the time they spread it around.
And that'll put it right around 750, won't it?
Exactly. So I'm gonna say like 720, but I'll go under.
I'm gonna say like 775. I think it's gonna be close. All right, Wan'Dale Robinson, Paul. I thought about doing receptions here because he is such a high volume guy, but I decided to do something more interesting. Because we had Paul Schwartz, he was one of the guys on our writers' roundtable. He said he was talking to Wan'Dale the other day, and he was asking Wan'Dale about his yards per catch. And Wan'Dale said, should be 10 easy. Well, he hasn't gotten to 10 yet in his career. His highest one was 9.8.
I know.
So, 10 yards per reception for Wan'Dale Robinson. Over or under?
I'm going to go over this time. I think he does do it. And my biggest reason is because when he catches all those little short slants and those short quickies, the defensive alignment for the other team, because they don't respect the Giants' run enough. There's been a lot of guys packed up closer to the line of scrimmage.
Or, frankly, respect the Giants' deep ball in the passing game enough.
That too. So he doesn't have a lot of room. He'll have more room this year to operate. So he's going to get more yardage. 10 is over.
I think his volume's going to be significantly down.
I totally agree with that.
Because that's not the type of passes that Russell Wilson tends to throw.
I agree.
But I think Wilson will do a good job hitting him in stride, where how many times, Paul, did we see him catch a short pass last year because the pass was slightly off, he had to fall down?
I'm gonna
lose his feet.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction. Robinson's gonna average over 11 yards a catch this year.
Ooh, I like that. Okay. You can make a note there for that, Pearson. I'm going to go over as well. And Paul has over 11. And you put over 1,200 for me for Tracy rushing yards too. We can make that note as a bold prediction. All right. Now we're going to some team predictions, Paul. We got through these pretty quick. I'm happy. Okay. We have a few defensive ones. No. That was we were good. We spent like 10 minutes on Parsons, so we're just trying to tighten it up. Team sacks allowed.
Yeah.
Team sacks allowed.
Oh, boy. There's a big variable in this one, and that's Russell's likes to hold the ball.
I have it at 44.5.
I'm going to go under. I'll make that a quick call for you. I'm going to go under.
Why?
I think because of the balance and because of the fact that the Giants will be much more competitive in games, and they're not going to have to constantly throw for 3 quarters because they're behind in the first quarter so much all the time, and then people can tee off. Even with Russell having those sticky hands to kind of hold the ball too long, I bet you the number's going to be somewhere around 38.
All right, I'm going back to 2009. I'll go back to 2018. Starting from there to here are Russell Wilson's sack numbers. 51, 48,
I know,
47, only 33 his last year in Seattle. That was only in 14 games. 55 in Denver, 45 in Denver, and then 33 last year in about 11 games. So if he plays all 17 games last year, he's probably around 45 again, to be quite frank with you.
Yeah.
So I am also torn on this because I do think the Giants' offensive line, a veteran group, second year together. We'll see about Andrew Thomas's health.
Can we put an asterisk on this?
No, absolutely not. No, we cannot put an asterisk on this. It just is kind of in his nature.
I know.
If they can go under on this, if they could somehow get under 40 sacks allowed, I think that's a great sign for this Giants offense.
I agree.
A great sign for this Giants offense. So you know what? I'm going to go under as well. I will say this, and I'm not sure if this matters because he's such a veteran quarterback. In practice, Russell Wilson has not held the ball a long time. He's gotten the ball out quick. And I would bet that's been a focus for Brian Dable. If your first read's not there deep, just check it down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to be a focus. And I think Dable's going to get Russ to buy into it a little bit. So I'm going to go under here. It's not going to be a strength, but I'm going to go under. All right, now here's where the rubber meets the road, Paul.
What do you got?
Points per game.
Oh, boy.
Last couple years, they were around 15 or 16.
Oh, I know.
And 30th and 31st in the league. To get to the middle of the league, Paul, almost exactly around 16 or 17.
Yeah.
You have to get to around 3 touchdowns. A little more than that.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm putting the over-under at 21.9. Will the Giants get to 22 points per game this year, which will, again, put them right near the middle of the league?
Well, that's what they did in 22 when they went to the playoffs.
They were right around that number.
That's the number you have to do. If you're going to be functional, you've got to get to that number. Wow. That's a big, big jump.
That's a huge jump. All right, I'll let you think. Since it's such a big jump, I'm going to go under, but barely. I think they'll probably be around 21, whether it's 20.8 or 21.3.
What's the number you
21.9. They have to get to 22 in order for it to be over. So I think they'll be just below that, but it'll be significantly better, and it'll be enough to win more football games. So I'm going to go slightly under. I'm going to be around 21.2, 21.3.
I will join you there because I think even if the Giants are competitive and have a good record, a lot of it's going to be because they'll be in tug-of-war kind of games. They're not going to get involved into shootouts, John.
I agree.
The Giants are going to upset some of these better teams that are coming in as favorites. Those games are going to be like 23-17, 23-20.
Yeah.
I will agree with you. I could see them getting up to about 21. I'll go under also.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I think it's going to be close, though. And I think that's the number you're going to have to be around if you want to be competitive. And I think the Giants will be near there. And look, the bottom line, I just wrote this for cover 3. The Giants want to be successful this year. You're going to have to win a lot of close games. And
have to.
A big part of that is getting up to that type of point. All right, let's do defense. This is much shorter because I hate tackle numbers. I don't like doing tackles.
No, they're wordless.
I just have a bunch of sacks here, and we'll go sacks.
Well,
Dexter Lawrence finished with 9 last year in just, 11 games played, I think it was?
Yeah.
Over under 9.5. Will he get to double digits? Over or under?
You know, the only variable for me here has nothing to do with him. It has to do with the other guys steal the sacks from him.
He'll usually get there first because he's closest to the quarterback at the snap.
Have you seen Abdul Carter's get off?
That's pretty good.
That's the question. How many sacks get stolen from Dexter because his teammates are just so ferocious that they wind up closing the pocket and getting the guy first? Or for that matter, 9.5, you say?
9.5. He has to get to double digits. He has never. I don't think he's gotten to double digits.
No, he's
before,
never
right?
done it.
No.
He's never done it. I'll give him his 10. Go ahead, why not?
My concern here.
I mean, you think he would have gotten it last year if he was
Oh,
played
absolutely.
the whole
Question.
season, right?
Here's
There's
the
no
problem,
question.
though.
But they didn't have guys stealing sacks from him last year like
he
this year.
going to start slowly this year because of the slow offseason?
I know.
That's the only thing that has me nervous here. If you tell me I'm getting 100% of Dexter Lawrence for his regular snaps and he's his dominant self in week 1, I'm going over here and I'm not even blinking. I'm not blinking. It's an easy one. Or was last year an outlier where just nose tackles don't get that many sacks very often?
See, I'm gonna give you a little something you want to chew on. If the Giants are not constantly playing from behind beginning in the second quarter all the time,
No, he could have had 15 last year.
there'll be more pass attempts.
I 100% agree
Right?
with you. All right, I'm going over. I'll go over 2. I'll have faith that him not doing a lot this offseason has more to do with them just being careful with the injury.
That's kind of how I'm leaning too.
So
And with more pass attempts, he'll have more chances.
I agree. Brian Burns, 9.5. Over or under? A lot of these numbers are going to be very similar.
Yeah, I know.
He's been only in double digits once in his career.
Yeah, he had 11 one time, right?
12, I believe.
Was it 12?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it was 12.
And Thibodeau had 11.5 one time. Man, that's hard.
He had 8.5 last year.
Yeah.
He had 12.5 in 2022.
Okay.
2 other seasons, he's had 9.
Yeah. And your number is what?
9.5. He has to get to double digits.
I say he does it. Let's go over.
I'm going over too. I think you're looking at a 12-sack year for him. I really do. I think he's going to have a nice year. I've liked what I've seen from him. I think he's going to have a big year. I'm with you.
He voted captain as we talked to him yesterday. Not that he needed any more focus, but this guy is primed. He looks like he wants to have a career season.
All right, here we go. Kayvon Thibodeau, Paul. I just made a little adjustment here.
Okay.
I'm going to go 8 sacks flat. So he has to get above 8 to go over here. 7.5 would be under. 8 would be obviously on the nose. Over, under. 8 sacks, Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm going to go under here. I just think his pass rush snaps might get limited a little bit just because of the Abdul Carter presence.
Yeah.
And I think he's a really good pocket pusher. He's going to help the team pass rush. So the overall sack numbers might not be indicative of how he helps the defense in general. So I'm going to go just under. I think he gets 7 or 7.5.
I believe that he's going to have a career year.
I'll say go over.
Okay.
You got to go over then.
Here's the funny part.
Put your money where your mouth is, you coward.
No, I think he's going to have a career year, and he probably will have a career high in tackles. But he will not increase his sack number.
Ooh, okay.
Okay?
Interesting.
And that's, you heard of him talk about the wrestling coach he went to?
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him about it the other day after he got done with the media. He truly believes that the wrestling moves that he has learned are going to be a significant help to him in terms of taking on not only the bigger tackles and the power rushers, but also some double teams and chips and stuff. He believes this is a big deal for him. And holding the point of attack at the edge, which he's already good at, I think he's going to have his best year, but it won't be shown in the stats. He'll show up in the tackles, not in the sacks. I will go under on Thibodeau's sacks, but I think he's going to play great, and a lot of people out there won't recognize it because they won't see it in the sack number.
So did you dip into the moves? What do you think? Is the pile driver that'll help him? The suplex? Body slam, maybe?
I was thinking the
DDT?
atomic leg drop.
Oh, the atomic leg drop. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
The sleeper hold, maybe? The figure 4 leg lock? Notice all these wrestling moves I mentioned are from like 1992.
But I'm impressed that you know them.
Well,
That's very good.
Well, when I was 10, I did watch some wrestling.
Okay.
And then I
Good for you.
stopped. Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah, those are all from the, early 90s era. All right. Paul, this is not a... Oh, no. We got one more. Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
9.5 sacks. Does he get to double digits? I'm going to go under here. Rookies just don't tend to get the double digits for whatever reason. It's very difficult for them. It doesn't happen all that often. So I'm going to go just under here for Abdul Carter.
I was going to say I'll give him 8.5. I think he may have more sacks than Thibodeau, but Kayvon is going to have a much better year.
I'll be honest with you. I really want to go over here because I think he has the talent to go over.
Be great.
I'm just going on history where rookies don't tend to get the double digits.
No, I mean, look, we know LT didn't get to double digits as a rookie. 9.5. I mean, are we going to presume that Abdul Carter is going to have more than LT? Now, of course, he's got 17 games.
Correct.
So, in theory, right, the math, he could do it.
Pearson, go over. I'm changing my mind. Abdul Carter's a monster. The freak show.
Okay.
I mean, you've watched him in one-on-ones.
I love how quickly you're just like, oh, what am I doing?
I'm overthinking this, dude. I know what I saw in training camp.
Yeah.
I know what I saw.
Well, I'll help you out with that, too. I'll give you a little more confidence in your changing of the pick. Azeez Ojulari had 8.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Abdul Carter's a monster.
So, I mean, I think we've seen the difference in those physical tools.
Correct. All right. Paul, this is not an over, under, or fact or fiction. It's just a simple question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Who will lead the Giants in sacks this year?
Ryan Burns.
I agree. You got Burns in for both of us, Pearson. Team sacks, over, under, 49.5.
They're going to hit 50.
I think they will hit 50
Over.
as well. They were at 45 last year with all that working against them. I agree. That should put them in the top 3 or 4 in the NFL, by the way, if they get to 50 sacks.
Again, more competitive games means the other teams will throw the ball more than they have in the past.
I agree. Oh, boy, we're having way too many overs here, Pearson. I should have been more aggressive on these over-unders.
The team is better, John.
I understand.
And we've all said the defense should be really good.
We're setting ourselves up for stuff, Paul, and I don't like doing that. Bobby Okereke. This is the one tackle number I use, but I think it's significant for him. 125 tackles. He broke that for 3 straight years
until
last season when obviously he got hurt, did not play particularly well or as well as he would have liked, and he was well under that. Will he get to 125? I'm going to go under just because I haven't seen it in this defense yet, and I don't know if he's going to be, the same way Wink had him just kind of flying around as being protected. I think Micah McFadden will eat up some of those tackles because he's been improved as a player. I'm going to go just under. I think it's going to be around 117 or 120.
Well, I told you what I think about Kayvon, and I also think Burgeon's going to have a career year. I think Dexter's going to play the whole season. That'll add to his tackle total. Abdul Carter's going to get a bunch of tackles too, so it's got to be under.
Paul, who will lead the Giants in interceptions this year? It's quite the sound. I think we should save that as a drop.
That may be the hardest question you've asked me all day. Seriously.
Okay. I got 2 guys that I'm kind of debating between.
That's fine, but you got to pick one.
Oh, I understand that. All right, so I'm going to go on my gut. I'm going to go Javon Holland here. I think he's going to play a lot of deep safety. I think he's got sideline-to-sideline speed. I think he's got great instincts. I think he'll read the quarterback. I'm going to go with Javon Holland. And I know the NFL numbers do not indicate that.
No,
but I remember the way he played in college, and I think he will be a ball hawk this year. I'm going Javon Holland.
Yeah. Part of me badly wants to take Newbin because he's heard enough.
That was my other guy.
He's heard enough about how he didn't get picks last year.
And by the way, he's not happy about it either. He wants to be around the ball more.
He's fed up with hearing that.
Well, I think he's just fed up because he didn't get his hand on the ball more last year, too.
Right.
He holds himself to a high standard.
No doubt. And he did it at the University of Minnesota on a regular basis.
Correct.
So I think he really he's determined to get that ball. But at the same time, the way the Giants are going to play this defensively, I think Holland will have more chances than he will.
How about Adebo? He has more interceptions than either one of those safeties
ever
had.
I know. And I just talked to him yesterday. I love the way watching that guy play. He is really something special. But if I'm the other team, I don't want to be throwing at him very much. I'll go Newbin. Put Newbin down for me.
That was my choice B. So those are the 2 guys I was going.
I mean, because let's face it.
And I thought about Adebo, but I don't know. I always like picking safeties for these answers, not corners. So
yeah, but besides, with Adebo's track record compared to the track record of Banks and Flott, who are you going to throw the ball at?
In honor of Matt Sytak, I will put Dane Belton in there as the resident Dane Belton fan club guy. All right, team interceptions, Paul.
Yeah.
The Giants had 5 last year. Only one team had fewer. That was the Cleveland Browns.
Over.
That is not the number.
It's not the number?
No.
I tried to jump the gun to force you.
Much like before, I gave you a number here that would put the Giants right smack in the middle of the league.
Okay.
Over under interceptions, 12.5.
Over. Again, teams will throw the ball more, and I believe the Giants' pass rush is going to cause a lot of chaos. And I do believe this secondary is more talented than it was before.
I'm going to go under. It's a big jump.
It is.
I think the Giants have the ability and talent to do it, but I'm in the believe it when I see it mode with that. They just have not produced that many interceptions over the past few years. So,
well, if you have confidence in Holland being able to grab the ball, we know Newbin's got good hands from his college days, and we know that Adebo is very good at getting to the ball. So right there, those are 3 guys who you probably believe are going to get some picks.
I understand.
So I'm going to go over.
That's fine. And I would not be surprised if this is over. I'm almost freaked out on picking over too much. So this is more of me trying to cover myself and pick under. Turnover ratio. Last year, the Giants were -8. With this schedule, you cannot afford to be on the minus side of the turnover ratio this year.
You cannot.
So I'm going to put them right at even, Paul. Giants turnover ratio, even. Over would be in the plus column. Under would be in the minus column.
Okay. Russell Wilson is so careful with the ball. Tyrone Tracy did have some ball security issues last year.
Yes, he did.
Although they have worked on that with him.
So he did get a ball knocked out of his hands in week 1, though his knee was down.
Oh, yeah.
Of the preseason, week 1 of the preseason.
Yeah. I'm going to say over. They'll be in the plus side. It may only be plus 4 or 5, but I'll say plus
Ooh,
side.
plus 4 or 5 will be big. I'll go under here. I think they're going to be -1, -2. I think they'll be right around even, and we'll see how that breaks out.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, final one. Rush defense. Again, I found the number that'll put the Giants right around the middle of the league.
Okay.
Yards allowed per game, 119. Will they stay under 120 in rushing yards allowed per game? Over or under? They were, I believe, 5th worst in the league last year, if I remember right when I looked at the rankings earlier today.
Again, teams, I think the competitive nature of the game flow is going to force teams to be throwing the ball a lot more than they have in years past, where they've been just able to run the ball in the second half.
So, by the way, under
the Giants.
and under in this case would be a good thing. Because under 119 would be a good thing. So.
Yes. And so I'm going to stick with the fact that I believe everything I've said in general about this club, which means they'll probably hold teams to about 115 yards.
I agree with you. I'm going to go under. I think they'll be right around that number. And I think they're going to miss fewer tackles. I think they'll be more disciplined. And I just think the volume of rushes will be down from what we've seen in years past. So,
well, and by the way, should we throw in the fact that both of us are very high on the Giants' potential to grab sacks?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think those sacks do? Sacks hurt the rushing numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're putting teams in non-rushing situations.
So I'm going under.
Okay. 201-939-4513. Those are your over-unders for 2025. And, of course, folks, I'll remind you, if you guys want to call in with your bold predictions over the next few days, we will take them. We have no show on Monday, no shows on the weekend. But Bob Pop and I will be doing the show next Tuesday. You get a Madeline O'Hara on Wednesday, then a 3-way show, me, Paul, and Casillas on Friday, and then Dottino and Sitak will be our normal Friday afternoon crew throughout the season.
Thursday, you forgot to mention Thursday.
Yeah, I said Thursday be me, you, and Casillas, a 3-way show.
No, you said Friday. And then you said Friday again.
Oh, sorry. Thursday, me, Paul, and Casillas, a 3-way show, and then Friday will be Paul and Sitak, our game preview. Giants Foundation, 5K Race and Run, Kids Run presented by Quest, Sunday, October 26th, 9 a.m. MetLife Stadium. Net proceeds will benefit the Giants Foundation. You get a free T-shirt after the race. You get a festival, live DJ, Giants Legends. Register now, giants.com/5K. The Giants Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. Our callers have been very patient. We appreciate that.
NFL news.
What do we got, Pearson?
The Patriots released former Giant Jabril Peppers.
Really?
Who was projected to be a starter, I'm pretty sure.
Is there a reason why they did it now?
No reason.
Well, he had some off-the-field stuff, too, going on. Yeah. So, that's interesting.
Jersey guy, by the way.
Good player, too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's surprising.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, he'll get another chance with somebody.
Thank you for that, Pearson. That's a good nugget. All right, let's go to David in Charleston, then Nick in White Plains. You'll be up after that. David, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing today?
We're good, man. Thanks for calling. What do you got?
So before I got a bold prediction. Before I go there, I just want to say I appreciate you guys for everything you do. I kind of feel like Paul in the off season when you guys don't have a show, I'll just get a little like, where's my big game kickoff,
Those 2 weeks in early July are rough for me, too, just so you know.
Yeah, I know, man. But so, let me get my bold prediction. So, I do have the Giants winning 10 games this season. I know that's like, the schedule's crazy, the hype is up for the Giants, but I believe in us this year. So 10 wins, and I think the offensive line will finish top 15 at least. I'm thinking maybe top 10, 15 in that area. And then I have my last one. I have Malik Neighbors will be either number 1 or number 2, the best wide receiver in the NFL this season. You did Jamar first or him first. We'll see, but he's definitely going to be 1 or 2.
All right, David. Good stuff, my friend. Look, I think that's very possible. I do worry about this Justin Jefferson hamstring.
Mm-hmm.
It knocked him out last year. Mm-hmm. It's been dogging him in the summer. Hamstrings for wide receivers. Be very, very careful with that stuff, man.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I haven't been reading closely exactly what they've been doing in terms of his load management and so forth. But,
I don't think Jefferson's done much.
I don't think he has either.
No.
But I don't. Is he even running zigzags or anything right now? I'm not even sure.
No, I don't know the answer.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't even kind of want to comment, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but look, I think Neighbors has the potential to be in that top 3-ish area. I do. I know you think because of the volume, probably not, but I don't know. I just think that he's going to get fed an awful lot.
If he catches 95 passes for 1,200 yards, that's a spectacular season.
I don't think I don't think I consider that a monster year.
I didn't say monster. I said spectacular.
I think those are synonyms, aren't they?
Let's put it this way: both of those numbers would be a tad under where he was last year, and I don't think that's too crazy considering the way they can spread the ball around.
I would get on the mic, Pearson. I would be shocked if Neighbors did not catch 100 balls this year.
Okay.
What say you?
I don't know if I'd be shocked, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think you think he's going over 100.
I think he'll get more.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, you know what? If he gets 95, how many of those are going to be called back for offensive holding or some kind of penalty?
Well, those don't count. I understand that.
No, I understand, and I don't think what you're saying is crazy. I'm not like fighting you on this. I just happen to think he's going to be a little under because of the distribution of the ball.
No, I got you.
That's all.
That makes sense. All right, let's go to Nick in White Plains. He's up next. Hey, Nick.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
We're good, man.
Thanks for taking my call. I love the show.
Thanks for calling.
Cool. So I thought of this out actually a couple days ago, and it aligns so great with your over-under conversation. But so we had 45 sacks last year in 2024, and I went back and I looked at all the game logs because I wanted to know exactly what you were talking about, Paul. How many of those sacks came when we were leading or tied versus trailing? And I know that 31 of our 45 sacks last year came when we either had the lead or were tied.
Wow.
So I'm thinking
good research.
That with improved quarterback play, hopefully we're in some better positions in the score-wise. And then obviously Carter and Golson coming onto the team. I mean, I think that if we can rush the passer like we did last year when we were leading or tied, that's 68% of our sacks came in that situation. So what are your guys' thoughts on that?
No, Nick, you make a great point. And how this defense performs in terms of a pass rush is going to have a lot to do with how the offense scores points and gives this team leads. You went and counted the Giants up last year. I think that's a great job out of you.
That's great.
And just seeing, I kind of figured all this out watching other teams play the Giants, where a lot of times to a half or 2.5 quarters, other team had 2-3 sacks. But then when the Giants were down 14 or 17 in the third quarter and fourth quarter, teams would rack up 3 or 4 sacks when the game was already basically over because they know the Giants were going to pass the ball and they could just eat. So it really does make a difference. If the other team can control what they're doing offensively with runs and play action and max protection because they don't feel the pressure of having to move the ball and score points, it becomes very difficult to get sacks. And it's mentally for the quarterbacks too, right? If the quarterback feels like, all right, I can check this down if I see a rusher coming because I have a lead and I'll take my 4 or 5 yards, that's great. But if the quarterback sees himself down 7 or even down 3 late in the game and they feel the pressure of having to make a play, that's when they hold the ball a second longer. That's when you can get your sack. So, Nick, I think you are 1,000% correct.
I think most people ignored the term game flow until recent years when, a lot of analytics people started to talk about different things.
And we've been talking about that a ton.
But I think for the most part, for years and years and years, people didn't talk about game flow very much. And then in recent years, it has become a popular topic of conversation. And I think in a lot of ways, it's still underrated in terms of how games are going to play out. That's why it's so important not to have a terrible first quarter. And this team in particular, this offense, has been horrific in the first quarter for how many years?
A half, even. I mean, the Giants have scored fewer points in the first quarter and the first half than any other team in the league the last 2 or 3 years.
It changes everything. So game flow has to change.
Yeah.
And what's the easiest way to do it? Great defense
No,
and special teams help tilt the field.
No, you change it by scoring points.
Well, yes,
that's how you change it. You change it by scoring some freaking points.
I get
How
you.
about scoring on your first drive?
Well, yes, absolutely.
How about that?
I'd like to see them only have to go 60 yards, though, instead of 80.
All right, fine. Well, I mean, it's hard to go 80 yards now. You get a touchback.
Well,
it brings it back to the 35-yard line now. Nick, you got anything else for us?
I was just going to say, all that being said, if we can get our guys to stay healthy, which I know last year, Burns, Tibbs, Dex, all of them had injuries to different degrees. With Carter, I think that 49.5, what you had, we got to smash that. I'm thinking we're closer to 60.
Oh.
Well, Nick, appreciate the call, man. If you get to 60, you're leading the league.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big number.
That's a big number.
I'd be happy with 53.
Let's go to David in North Carolina. He's up next. Hey, David.
Hey, guys. I know preseason football is kind of frowned upon now, but I used to really enjoy watching it and kind of seeing. I felt like back in years past, and this is going back a while, but say 15 years ago, you could maybe catch a glimpse of somebody that stood out. And I remember in 2000 when Ron Dane was drafted, like. To me, Tiki Barber just looked like a different animal that preseason, and I'll never forget that year thinking, this guy just looks different. And he, of course, had a great year that year, and that was kind of his coming out party that season. But my long story short is, I know there's no guarantees with this, but it was just refreshing to watch this preseason, and I mean, gosh. How many years, even going back to the later years of Eli, where you would watch a preseason game and it's just like, why is it so hard on offense to look confident? Like, and this is the first preseason in a long time that I felt like I was able to watch the Giants and it just be like, okay, there's some layups here. There's some easy completions. Like, it doesn't look like pulling teeth to get a first down, even with the first string. So, I'm not expecting them to come out scoring 30 points a game, but gosh, it was nice to see the offense look like a confident offense that gets basic looks. And I know the defense is running basic stuff, but in the offense, everybody makes that argument. Well, then why isn't it easier than it has been in years past? So, I enjoyed seeing that, and also coming off last year where I personally was a little bit down on Dayball and his staff and being an offensive guy and the offense just struggling so much the last few years. And I know there's 1,000 excuses for that, O-line and yada, yada, yada. But still, it's just been so hard to watch this offense the last few years in a day and time when you feel like it shouldn't be that hard to score points with everything the NFL does to try to make it easier for the offense. So I'm hoping this preseason it preludes to some good things. And, win or loss, you will see how that pans out. But I'm hoping for some more entertaining football on that side of the ball.
Hey, look, they need it. Appreciate the call, man. The Giants need to score more points. They need to make more explosive plays. And you hope that again, preseason's a liar, man. Preseason's a liar. Like, it can fool you. It can show you things that aren't real. But maybe this time it's not. And we'll have to wait and see. I am not basing my predictions on what the Giants will look like and do this year based on what I saw in the preseason.
No, you can't.
I'm going based on the talent of the roster and what I know how the NFL works. But if that helps you be confident, and all the more power to you. Good for you.
The word that I've been using about this preseason, you used the word refreshing. I just said it's fun.
Yeah, it was
fun to watch these 3 games.
All right, we got a couple roster moves for the Giants.
Yes, we do.
That just came down. The Giants re-signed Gunnar Olszewski.
Mm-hmm.
They slide over Rico Payton to the injured list. That was one of the guys they claimed when they released Gunnar Olszewski yesterday. They add Zaire Barnes, a linebacker, and McClendon Curtis, an offensive lineman, to the practice squad. And then they let Trace Ford go from the practice squad, which is a surprise to me. I thought he had a really good summer. I imagine he's a guy that I wouldn't be surprised to see him back on the practice squad at some point. Because, again, I think he had a really good summer. But those are the roster moves the Giants just made.
Yeah, I think you and I were kind of looking at Ford and Tamon Fox kind of fighting in a similar slot. And they wound up keeping both of them initially.
Yeah, on the practice squad, yep.
Yeah, and now Ford finds himself on the outside looking in. That could, because I think it was really close between those two. Whether or not they felt they had to make a decision between them, I don't know prior how things may have changed. But one thing we know about Fox, he's been here for a couple of years, and so he's much more familiar with what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. All right, let's take one more call before we say goodbye here as we get close to 1:30, as we go back to the phone line to say hi to Rob in Connecticut. Rob, what's going on, man?
Oh, my God. How you guys doing? Actually, this is the second time I've called this week. Hey, so, Paul, John, real quick, you're talking about, like, statistically being in the middle of the league, on defense and offense. Well, I mean, defensively, if defense truly wins championships and we're like in the 10th, it's almost statistically impossible based on a standard bell curve for us to have less than 9 wins. So if we finish somewhere in the middle, we're not going to, these perilous predictions we're going to have 5 wins are bunk. And these people who come up with these, if they say one thing, but on the other hand, our victory totals are on the opposite end, it's moronic. So I think we're going to, based on what I just said, I think we're going to have, 9 wins if we're anywhere near the middle. You know what I mean?
Well, Rob, look, I'll put it this way, Rob. I think given Rob what we've seen, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to some people here. Given what we've seen from the Giants since 2017, spare the 2022 season, I understand why there are some people that are in believe it if I see it mode. I get that.
Yeah, well, show me.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Show me, right? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. But sometimes I'm taking a leap of faith, and that's just positivity.
Oh, no, that's great.
What I mean?
Absolutely. You're a fan. You should have faith.
Rob, one of the things that I've said consistently for the last month or so is that the national people who continue to kick the Giants in the stomach have not come here to the facility to watch practice and to watch this team through training camp and to closely watch the preseason games. Those people who have come from the outside, the Albert Breers, the Brian Baldingers, those types of guys have come in here and said, they look much better. We're impressed. Now, none of those people are going to put a win total to it because the schedule's hard.
Right, look.
Right?
And people also work off the numbers that get produced out of Vegas, and they look at those over-unders, too.
Exactly.
And look, those people down there know how to put those numbers in the right spot.
There's an outside perception that I think people would be doing themselves a much better service. And I know they can't all come, right? They can't all be here to see. But if they're here and they see what's going on, every single one of the national people who's been here has come away saying the Giants are a lot better, and you guys, wow, you've done something.
Well, but they also say, yes, they're a lot better, but boy, this is a tough schedule. I'm not sure it's going to be reflected in the win total.
No doubt. That's why none of them come away with a number for wins.
Correct.
None of them.
Correct.
But they all say the Giants are a better team.
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah. Hey, look, Paul, real quick, what is your the worst loss? Would it be the San Francisco game in 2002, or would it be the Flipper Anderson game in 1989?
Oh, my goodness.
Rob, why you want to depress Paul like this going into Labor Day weekend? Why would you do this to him?
Because I depress myself. So, hey, misery loves company.
You just told me how optimistic you are, and then you have all this hope, and you're excited, and then you bring up those two games?
They're big.
Yeah,
let me just say this to you.
I'm old and cranky. By the way, I turned 50 in less than a week. So, hey,
I've probably had about 10 games that really gall me to no end.
Thank you for the call, Rob.
And
we
you certainly picked 2 of them. When you're in so much pain that gallons of blood are gushing all over the kitchen floor.
Gallons of blood?
Does it really matter?
It's got dark.
Does it really matter if one loss was a cup of blood more than the other? Does it really matter at that point?
No,
seriously.
Because I guess if you're talking gallons of blood, you're pretty much dead either way.
There you go. And so, there have been unfortunately, when you've been around a franchise as long as I have, there's not going to be 1 or 2 gut-wrenching losses. There's going to be more than that.
So he might actually be the Count. He might be a vampire if he's had all that bleeding happening. That could be bad.
I can't be a vampire. My tan is too good.
You're just good disguise.
You met a vampire once, though.
In New Orleans.
We need to get Wesley Snipes in here to do like the vampire test on him to see if he's actually a vampire or not. Can you name the Wesley Snipes character that dealt with vampires, Paul?
I do know there was a movie.
I know, but can you name the character? Can you name the superhero?
I don't think I can.
Pearson?
Blade?
There you go.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I have
correct.
heard of him. I have heard of him. Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent job. 3 Blade movies. All were pretty good, too. All right, folks. Paul mentioned Albert Breer, by the way. Is that up yet, Pearson? Do we know it is? That is up on the John Settle podcast right now. We did 3 great minutes on Michael Parsons that Pearson had to edit out because, well, that happened yesterday. Excellent editing job by Pearson on that, by the way. So check that out. We do a lot more than that. We talk about the Giants, the type of stuff Paul talked about, his takeaways from being at camp. We preview the season, Giants, NFL, all that stuff. Make sure you go check it out on the John Settle podcast. And then, folks, even though we don't have any live program in the next 3 days, again, there's no Big Blue Kickoff Live on Monday. We do have a lot of tape programming coming out. Tomorrow is her playbook, correct, Pearson? Randall Cunningham's daughter, who's
Vashti Cunningham.
Yeah, Vashti Cunningham, who was an Olympian. Check that out with Madeline Burke. Sunday, my interview with Mark Malusis, who will be my co-host on Big Blue Kickoff. Saturday, over the course of the year, 7 a.m. on WFAN. You guys should check that show out weekly. We're live. We take calls on the Fan. You can stream that live as well on the Odyssey app. And then on Monday, we have our Writers Roundtable, which I recorded this morning with Paul Schwartz, Art Stapleton, and Chris Bisignano from Giants Insider.
That's over an hour, so that should feed your BBK needs on Monday.
I made sure we gave you extra content.
It takes forever to edit, by the way.
Well, it's not the editing.
To export,
it's
sorry.
It's more the exporting. Paul was heartbroken. He wanted to come in here on Monday in the worst way to do a show, but Pearson said no. Under no circumstances is that happening. So Pearson vetoed him.
Look, I get it, right?
In fact, you're gonna not be in the building for 2 straight days, Monday and Tuesday, Paul. Or how are you gonna handle that?
Well, there is a practice on Monday, is there not?
That's Zoom, I believe.
Oh, is it Zoom?
I think it might be Zoom.
If Coach is going to do an in-person chat or whatever, if he's going to do a media avail, I'll be here. He's definitely not doing it, Pearson.
I don't mean to break news here if any media members are watching, but I believe that will be a Zoom call on Monday.
Well, then I will not be here until Wednesday.
You could lurk in the back of the room as Dabes does the Zoom and be creepy about it. Want to do that?
This is terrible. This is just terrible. I'm going to go through withdrawal now. Okay.
So in fact, this will be 4 straight days without you in the building.
Yes,
with the season starting. He might not make it back on Wednesday, Pearson.
I'm going to be in withdrawal.
Someone might have to commit him. He might do something during one of his power walks.
This is like a mini vacation. This is horrible.
This is great in my opinion.
Pearson will enjoy his 3 days off. I will try to do the same. It'll be a fun weekend, and then we'll be back energized again. We'll be back on Tuesday for another Big Blue Kickoff Live. If you're excited for the season, folks, you're looking for a Giants season ticket membership or even individual tickets.
There you go.
Giants.com/tickets. Go check it out. If you're a season ticket member, you get great member benefits. You get your free gift at the start of the year. A lot of awesome stuff. Giants.com/tickets. Our good folks upstairs will take care of you. Make sure you get taken care of. Individual tickets are there as well. Make sure you go check that out. And all of our content that we just plugged incessantly can be found on Giants TV on all your smartphones, the apps, smart TVs. Go check that out. And I should mention draft season as well. Our first 2 draft season episodes are up. It's on the main podcast feed channel, also on the draft season feed. We do Bruce Feldman on the Freaks List, and we have Drew Fabianich, the new executive director of the Panini Senior Bowl. So make sure you check those 2 things out on the feed as well. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. You get one more breather. Some great college football this weekend. It's a great appetizer. You get some awesome games. You get LSU Clemson, Ohio State Texas. Dan Salamone, I believe, is somewhere already in his cave getting ready for that game at noon on Saturday. And I believe there's a good game tonight, too. And then Sunday night, I think it's Notre Dame Miami. Does that sound right? I think it's Notre Dame Miami on Sunday night. There's a Sunday night game. It's Miami against somebody.
Okay.
This is Carson Beck's in that game. I think it's Notre Dame. But we'll recap all those games on draft season next week too, by the way. So make sure, great stuff coming next week, by the way. We're going to have Kevin Burkhardt on. A lot of good stuff coming your way. Getting ready for Giants and Commanders. That was a lot. I'm sorry. For Paul Dottino and Pearson Butler, I'm John Schmeelk. Thanks for joining us on Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the Giants. Coming to you from the Giants podcast studio, presented by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. Paul, stop pointing. We'll see you on Tuesday on another Big Blue Kickoff Live at 12:30. Until then.